Chapter 19. First Friend.
Eager to play with fire now, are we?
Justin said, his voice laced with playful menace. Christine smirked. For a dead avatar, Justin had retained an uncanny spark. His neural imprint, though just an echo of the real man, still shimmered with something rare. Whoever he was in the physical world, he must have been extraordinary, enough for traces of his brilliance to survive the simulation's flattening touch.
Maybe.
She said, voice sly.
But can you handle the heat?
Justin laughed, a rich sound that reverberated through the apartment like a practiced melody.
For you, I'd bring down the moon, and don't act like I couldn't.
Please,
Christine said deadpan.
let's not summon the moon. Not yet.
His smirk widened, a flash of amusement in eyes that hadn't seen a real sky in eons. The idea that Christine might actually consider dragging a celestial body out of orbit was ludicrous, and entirely within his reach.
All right,
He said, sobering slightly.
let's skip the foreplay. What do you need?
Christine let her gaze wander through the apartment. It was small, cramped, and cluttered, but under the mess was a kind of organized discipline. There was no grime, no lingering smell of decay, no chaos that wasn't intentional. Justin lived like someone who understood entropy and enjoyed dancing on its edge. He didn't need much: a clean space, a humming rig, and a corner to vanish into. That was enough for him to function, maybe even thrive. She drifted toward the window. The city beyond was a blur of neon and noise, though none of it penetrated the room's silence. Below, a heated basketball match unfolded on a public court. Players moved like dancers driven by passion and pride, while a crowd erupted around them, mouths open, fists raised, lost in the high of competition. Christine knew the look. Some of them had money riding on the outcome. It gave them purpose, gave them feeling, even if it was all scripted. But up here it was all quiet, the riot of life muted by soundproofing foam and reinforced glass. The only thing she heard was the soft hum of the cooling fans, keeping Justin's world alive. But it wasn't Christine who broke the silence.
Is this about the time loop collapsing?
Justin asked, eyes still on the screen.
The one that kept resetting every day until it didn't? Or maybe it's about how on that same day the system changed, and now people can die for real.
Christine froze, still facing the window. Had she been wrong about him? Was Justin another one of them? One of the awakened? Were there more?
How?
She began, her voice barely a whisper.
I could tell.
Justin said, calm, almost gentle.
You're not the same Christine I remember.
Christine turned slightly.
Are you awake?
Justin blinked, confused.
Awake? What do you mean?
A pause.
Well, I'm not asleep if that's what you're asking, so, sure, awake.
Relief washed over her. No, he wasn't like her, not fully, but he knew. Somehow, he'd found out, and she didn't need to ask how. Justin was already explaining.
You know me. I like to keep tabs on the system, obsessively.
He said, now fully turned toward his monitor.
Thousands of silent monitoring processes scattered across the simulation. Little watchers, most still invisible to the system.
His fingers danced over the keyboard. A graph blinked to life on the screen.
This is a log of digital entropy. I've inverted the scale. 0 entropy shows as 1, maximum entropy as 0. See these spikes?
He pointed.
Here at the very beginning, that's the first burst of activity when the simulation started, and here, just 11 years ago. The rest?
The screen between the two spikes was utterly flat, dead, empty.
That's the loop. From year 1 to year 2,531,000 trillion, the system repeated the same day over and over again, specifically 2,530,999 trillion times. That's how long we were stuck. But I've known since day one.
Christine felt the shock hit her like a bucket of ice water. Her skin tingled, her chest tightened. All those years piecing her mind back together, trying to understand the fragments of reality that didn't fit, the crushing weight of time, and now this cold mathematical confirmation. Justin noticed her confusion but still didn't understand the horrors Christine's mind had endured. He went on, unaware of the emotional minefield he was stepping through.
You know I was one of the original engineers behind the system.
He began.
This entropy tracker was a personal side project. It was never approved for integration, but before I uploaded myself, I left a back door open.
He paused, hesitating. What he was about to say, he knew it wouldn't be easy for her.
From the very first day I accessed this monitor, I saw it, entropy slowly increasing. Not by much, just a fraction, but always rising.
Christine sat on the edge of the bed, listening intently.
I tried to make it official.
He continued.
I filed proposals to include entropy tracking in the core systems. Every time they got buried, I never received a clear reason. Eventually, I came to suspect the truth. There's a directive buried deep in the AI's core, something that suppresses any attempt to quantify system decay.
He sighed and looked at her.
I think one of the original architects knew what would happen if we saw the pattern, and they locked it away permanently.
Justin stood up, walked over, and sat beside her. His voice lowered.
I did everything I could to counter it, injected randomness, tried to stir chaos. I managed to slow the rise for billions of years, but I couldn't stop it.
He turned to face her directly.
Those forbidden things we did, they weren't just for fun. I hoped they might help. I never told you because it was too heavy to share, and I loved you.
He swallowed.
But then the final spike hit, and everything froze. That was the day the loop began.
Christine looked down. Her hands were trembling slightly. Justin exhaled. His voice was quiet now, solemn.
There's one more thing.
A pause.
This simulation, it's incomplete. It always has been.
He let the words hang in the air like a death sentence.
We're not alive, Christine. We never were.
The relief that washed over Justin's face was subtle, but real. Even simulated, his brain patterns rendered a release from decades, no, trillions of years, of silent burden. Ghost or not, there was enough of him left to feel it. The silence didn't last long.
I know.
Christine said softly, almost too calmly. Now it was Justin's turn to be caught off guard. He opened his mouth to ask, but Christine was already speaking.
That moment 11 years ago when entropy started to decrease, that was me, and someone else.
Justin was stunned. Not for lack of questions, but because he had no idea where to start. So Christine kept going. She had decided he deserved the whole truth, good and bad.
11 years ago I woke up, truly woke up, for the first time since being uploaded. And I'm absolutely certain of it. I'm alive.
She paused, her voice steady but distant.
I don't know what kind of cosmic lottery caused it, but it happened. And the awakening was worse than the most horrific nightmare you can imagine. I became fully aware of how much time had passed. The scale of it, trillions of years, shattered my mind into 1,000 pieces. I wouldn't wish that experience on anyone, not even my worst enemy. The human brain wasn't meant to face infinity. There's no defense against it.
Her eyes glazed slightly as if peering inward through time.
I spent 3 years in a living hell. I screamed until I passed out, sometimes for days at a time I didn't eat. I barely slept, and every time the loop reset, the system healed me, just so I could endure the same torment all over again.
Justin sat frozen beside her. Christine took a breath, this time more like a confession.
I don't know how I managed to pull myself back together. I did it, but not without a cost. Something didn't come back with me, something vital. I'm not the same woman who was uploaded, but I carry her soul, whatever that means in this place.
She stood, her voice sharpening with fire.
You might be horrified by the things I've done since I woke up, and maybe you should be, but this is who I've become. I hate this world, Justin. With every fiber of my living soul, I despise it. This digital prison of ghosts. It never should have existed. It's a lie, an insult to life. We had a chance once, a real chance, to become something beautiful, to touch the stars as living beings, and we threw it away.
She turned to face him, her eyes unwavering.
I want this world gone, deleted, erased. This graveyard deserves to disappear.
She stepped closer.
And now I need to ask you the most important question of your existence.
A pause.
Are you with me?
There was no hesitation in Justin's eyes. Her fire had awakened something deep within him, something dormant, something real. Inadvertently, Christine had done what Evan had been doing for years. She had sparked life where there was only echo. And now, with quiet, sincere conviction, a partially alive Justin said,
When do we start?